Alright guys, today's video is going to be the stream highlight of me and Femyoz's little debate. We debated about Jalyn in this stream, and I did promise him I would debate him about something else. I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload that bit, because this one's more for, like, me. The other one's more for him. Like I said, I wanted to keep it respectful. I am going to be debating him again. But this one was about Jalyn and just in general, like, why the defense of Jalyn kind of argument, which, going into it, it was a interesting debate. I will say he got a little emotional, and I will apologize a little bit here. I didn't think he was going to be, that rough of a subject, but, I get it. Jalyn's your friend, and when it comes to your friends, you kind of come to the defense of your friends. Like, that's just how it is. Although I don't entirely agree with a lot of the takes that Femyoz had. At the end of the day, I want to get it across that I don't think Femyoz is, like, this horrible, horrendous human being that, like, shouldn't exist or some shit. You know what I mean? Femyoz is not in the same pool as people like Jalyn or, Natty, or these people who have done horrible things. Like, all Femyoz really did was just do something cringe on Augie's stream. That's not a big fucking deal. And at the end of the day, he was a little silly, and he's come to the defense of people that we deem bad. But at the end of the day, Femyoz, he's a cool guy. It wasn't really that bad. It was an interesting stream. And at the end of the day, like, I was able to get along with him perfectly fine and well. I also want to make it clear that don't send any hate to Femyoz because of the debate. It's a debate between me and Femyoz, Like, this isn't, like, for everybody else to just hop in and jump on the train. If you want to comment on my channel, that's perfectly fine. I don't give a fuck. But just don't go to his channel and start, like, being an asshole, stuff like that. But I just wanted to preface that before I let the clip roll. It's probably going to be really long, and I'll see you guys in the actual next video, not the, like, a stream highlight. But yeah, see ya. The debate I was going to try to have is more of, like, the friends you have and the friends you have, and the fact that you choose to continue to, associate with specific people. And that being pretty much Jalyn and Natty, I think, is, like, the main problem that I have.
All right, I'll make a compromise with you, since I don't like the whole guilt by association thing, right? I've made that clear. Mm-hmm. And while I do think that there are valid criticisms you could make of them, I think that people oftentimes go overboard, right? So I think that if we're gonna debate something like that, I don't like having debates about whether or not I should be friends with people.
Oh, I don't. I
think it's fair for.
I don't care if you continue to be friends with them and stuff like that, but it's more just like, I think you're missing the point as to how bad of people they are.
All right, if we're gonna talk about them, which I don't really want to, then we're also gonna talk about gender affirming care. Is that a deal?
Okay, sure.
All right. We'll start off by talking about them. All right. So what issues do you want to bring to the table?
I guess I could start with Jalyn, since that's the one I've made a video on recently. All
right.
It's just the sheer fact that, Jalyn's past and now is the same. Even if you want to call it, just trolling, anything like that. Jalyn's behavior is just, like, ridiculous, and it's just disappointing to see you continuously defend that person and their behaviors. Now, like I said, I don't care if you're friends with them or not, but it does ruin your reputation. Like, that's what the point I'm trying to get across in my videos is that it's going to ruin your reputation down the road. You want to have a flourishing channel, but associating with specific people is gonna put you in that, field. You're gonna be a part of that group, and people are gonna associate you with those bad people.
So yeah, this is mainly an argument about optics. I've made it clear that I barely even pay attention or care about optics, right? That's not what I care about, and that's part of the appeal, right? Ultimately, long term, I don't think it's gonna cause me that much of an issue. It can at times, but at the end of the day, I've made it very clear that I'm against guilt by association. Now, what I will say about Jalyn, or I guess a question I'll ask you, is do you think that she is solely responsible for the Jalyn cycle? Do you think that is 100% on her?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. This is where we're definitely not going to agree. So, I guess. So, all right. Here's what I think. Okay. Honestly, at this point, I think it's best if people just stop talking to and about her. Right. I think it would be mutually beneficial. In terms of criticizing her, I'd rather do that in private. I don't need to make public statements about her, right? Because so I think that Jalyn is only partially responsible for the Jalyn cycle. Because I don't think the Jalyn cycle could even function in the first place if the commentary community just ignored her and moved on. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, like, greatly.
So,
because it's mostly just because of the fact that if you're gonna do something, say for example you do something bad on the internet, you should be called out.
Oh, by the way, the stream is lagging apparently. So I'm gonna have to pause, and I think that where we left off was you were saying something about Jalyn, or sorry, you were saying something about. Oh, I remember.
Is Jalyn being responsible?
No, I think. Oh, I remember. I remember now. I asked you. I don't think that they've seen this yet. I asked you if you think Jalyn is 100% responsible for the Jalyn cycle, and you said yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Yeah. And then I basically just explained that I think that she's only partially responsible, because if the commentary community just ignored her, and nobody engaged with any of the negativity, no one provoked her, and let's say she's provoking other people, if people just like blocked her or didn't respond, I don't think that the Jalyn cycle could even exist in the first place.
I mean, as I was saying, I get what you're saying. I do get you, but the thing is that if you're gonna act like that on the internet, you can't just ignore it. Like that's like saying like we should have just ignored like Mini Lad or something. Like, no, we gotta talk about it, right?
Okay.
Like you gotta talk about it.
Whoa. You Mini Lad was doing something way worse than anything Jalyn.
No, yeah, he definitely did something way worse. But I'm just using it as an analogy.
But this is a really bad analogy, right? Because ignoring Mini Lad wasn't going to make anything bad stop, right? But you have to keep in mind that Jalyn, okay, a part of me. So, okay, I'm honestly glad that I'm suspended from Twitter at this point. It's like Twitter is a horrible place. I'm low-key hoping... I low-key want Jalyn to get suspended from Twitter on the sole basis of it's so fucking... Okay, good, because it's so fucking bad for her. It is so bad for her.
I can agree with you on that. It is very,
very
bad.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, right? There's this sort of negativity loop, right? That sort of embodies the whole cycle itself, right? And when she's constantly in the spotlight in a negative way, like that affects her mental health very negatively. And the worse her mental health is, the more dumb shit she's gonna say or do, right? Well, you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not.
And when people engage instead of just ignoring her, they're making the problem worse.
Technically, yes, they are making it worse, but
exactly,
it's not their fault that it's happening. Jalyn is the one that was bad in the first place. When people call her out, she needs to take responsibility. If she's gonna be an asshole on the internet and say call Izzy like the hard R, and then people are saying, hey, you're a fucking terrible person, and her initial response is just to be a spaz on the internet, how is that our fault for the behavior that
in the context of her being mentally ill, and I'm not saying that this justifies everything or whatever. I personally, I don't think that making racist insults benefits anybody, right? But here's the thing, right? I don't think it serves any utility to make content about Jalyn that isn't actually gonna stop behavior. Nothing about the content isn't gonna change Jalyn for the better, right? She's not let's say there's a video that somebody publicly makes on her, and all of the criticism is completely valid, it's completely fair. If she's not willing to listen to that criticism, let's say, then really who does it benefit, right? I don't think that I think it's better to just try talking to her in private if you want to give genuine advice. And I know people have tried that. I know, oh, it doesn't work. But I think that it's better to, not make it a public thing where it's like it needs to be YouTube drama, right? It's like this is somebody's like mental health that's like completely deteriorating, right? And I don't think that making it YouTube drama benefits anybody.
It definitely, well, I mean, like, it doesn't benefit Jalyn, but, Jalyn needs to be
I don't think
self-aware. Like, Jalyn needs to be self-aware at least somewhat and be like, I need to leave the commentary community and stop making commentary videos altogether.
Here's the thing. The more you interact with her, the harder it is for her to leave the commentary community. That's what you don't get. The more criticism she gets, the more addicted. No, the more criticism she gets, the more addicted she is to engaging with it, right? If everybody just ignored her and didn't give her attention, regardless of whether it's positive or negative attention, then she wouldn't have anything to interact with in the first place, right?
I mean, sure, but it doesn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, like...
It does matter!
We shouldn't just ignore bad behavior from Jalyn. We shouldn't.
But if ignoring it makes it stop, then we should.
How do you know it's gonna stop? That's what I want to understand. How do
because
you know
nobody's fucking... Stop? I mean, I can't guarantee it, but nobody's seemed like it doesn't seem like the commentary community has tried it. You have to keep in mind.
What do you mean? Like, there's been moments where like we just don't talk about Jalyn. There's moments where like
where you don't talk about her,
and she still continues to go down the path of being bad. See, this is the Jalyn
because she knows she's gonna get attention. Like, even if she's not consciously thinking about it, right? And you have to keep in mind that from Jalyn's perspective, she feels like no matter what she does, everybody just is gonna either hate her or neglect her. That's her perspective. And for her, she feels like she has to do this trial and error thing. She doesn't know what strategy to take. And I think that when she gets to a certain point where it's like she's just desperate to not have everybody hate her, right? Like have the entire internet hating you is one of the worst feelings, right? It's not good. And ultimately, if she feels like, well, no matter what, everybody, either hates me or neglects me, like, what does she get from, let's say, agree, like, being like, oh, yeah, actually, you know what, I'll just not do this controversial shit, right? You have to keep in mind that, like, this isn't, and I know that it's not going to be entirely, based on logical reasoning or whatever, right? It's but and ultimately, as somebody that doesn't have like the greatest mental health of all time or whatever, like, I understand where Jalyn is coming from more than most people, right? Because I've had some of the same issues. The main difference is I've probably I've probably gotten a lot more therapy than she has. And there was, intervention at a younger age. So, normally I don't like talking about, anecdotal experiences as, like, an argument. I'm usually against that, but I think in this one case, it's applicable, right? So, how, people will often use clips, of Jalyn, having a mental breakdown, right? Where she's clearly out of control, right?
Uh-huh.
Just... obviously, the most obvious example would be when she, screamed at Izzy, calling him the N-word, right? Now, I know what it's like, to be out of control, right? When I was younger, right, when I was a kid, I, especially before there was any intervention from, people that deal with that type of shit for a living. It's one of the worst feelings, right? Like, if you get to the point where you're not able to control your emotions or the way you act on your emotions, like, it's fucking terrible. It is the worst feeling. Or at least one of them. And I feel like people sort of don't realize that aspect of it. It's like you can say that Jalyn did something wrong, you know, without, I guess, being unempathetic, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
there's
if you understand where I'm coming from.
There's plenty of people who have been empathetic, like basically just making it very clear that Jalyn should go get help, and Jalyn continues to ignore it. I mean, it's listen, like I agree, you know, it probably sucks for Jalyn, and it definitely does. But
so why make it worse? That's what I don't understand.
No, but like the point I'm trying to make is, like, for example, like, how is it Lyric's fault for making an entire video, you know, documenting basically what he's gone through with Jalyn? He has every right to make that video. It's like, why should we take that away from him? Why should we?
I'm not saying he doesn't have the. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the right to make that video, but I will say that that doesn't mean it's a good video to make. It's bad to make. Does he have the right to make it? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that should be taken away from him either. However, that doesn't automatically mean it's a good video for him to make. And let's be real. Nobody likes Lyrics, okay? He's a fucking loser.
Okay, well, that's not true. Lyrics is a different story. I think Lyrics is fine. He's definitely done some cringe. He did do that.
He's a fucking weirdo.
He did do that weird thing where he left and then was kind of cringe for a bit, and he's literally acknowledged that he was cringe for that. Like, he's acknowledged that in his videos.
He's still cringe.
I disagree on that.
Dude, he's the most sensitive motherfucker on the planet. I am telling you, right? Like, I made like the most like harmless joke, like transvestigation type joke, where I basically was just saying that Lyrics was a closeted trans woman as a joke. Dude, he had a fucking meltdown over that. Like, he was constantly talking about that. And then he literally went. He literally spent hours. He spent hours watching one of my streams so that he could find a clip of me saying an obvious joke to take out of context. Like, no normal person does that. Come on, that's fucking weird.
Okay, I mean, sure, but I mean, at the end of the day, he makes good content. Like his video on Jalyn, I know that you probably disagree. But majority of the people within the commentary community can agree that it's a good video on Jalyn that kind of, you know, showcases what Jalyn has done.
In terms of how well made the video is, I agree that it's a well made video, but I don't think it was a good video to make, you know, as a concept, right? Was it well executed? Sure. I think that he did a good job articulating whatever the fuck he wanted to articulate. That doesn't mean I agree with making the video itself, right?
I mean, sure, you know, but at the end of the day, like, there's nothing wrong with Lyrics uploading the video, and I think it should go out because people need to know who Jalyn is. I don't think that people should just ignore the behavior that Jalyn causes. I mean, first of all,
so you should do something to make it worse? Like, no. I just don't understand. It's like she already goes through enough shit. Does Lyrics not have the right to make the video? Obviously, he has the right to make the video. Again, I've never disagreed with that. Was it a well-made video? Sure. The editing was decent. He articulated what he wanted to articulate. Whatever. Fine. But that doesn't mean that it actually serves any benefit. It's like, you know, she already,
it does serve a benefit, though. It basically...
Who does it benefit?
It benefits the commentary community. A good example...
How?
A good example is, like... We're cleansing the commentary community of, like, shitty fucking content creators. Jalyn is a shitty content creator. We don't want her here.
Everyone in the commentary community is a shitty content creator.
It's just not true.
What do you mean?
Well, that's just not true.
It's all shit.
It's not.
It's all shit.
Then every form of content is shit, then.
Come on, I'm not saying that as like an insult. It's just like it's all just a bunch of dog shit drama. Come on. Let's not pretend like the commentary is some great, you know, like...
What about, like, diesel patches, or, like, you know, some of the bigger
diesel patch... Okay, I do like diesel patches.
Well, yeah, but that's because he's a good content creator who talks about dramas that need to be talked about.
It's because he's funny. Well, it's because he's funny. It's because he's entertaining. That's it.
He is funny and entertaining. Or, like, a good example, you probably don't agree with these people, but a good example is, like, Sensitive Society, or, you know, sometimes the Cheetos.
Okay, Sensitive Society is garbage.
No, he's not.
His content is awful.
Sometimes a Cheeto
so lazy.
Sometimes a Cheeto makes lazy content. Sometimes a Cheeto
he always makes lazy content.
But
his content is god awful.
That it's not lazy. I don't know where you're getting this.
Didn't he have a melt? Isn't he the guy that had a meltdown over Weast making an obvious joke about religion?
I mean, he made like a video about it. He just shitting on.
Yeah, he had a fucking meltdown.
I mean, it wasn't really a meltdown. It was just kind of him.
It was.
It was just him calling him a hypocrite.
It was him overreacting.
And he even admitted.
No, it was him overreacting.
He even admitted that like it was cringe. Like he admitted that he went overboard. So I really don't see the issue. Like that's a good example. A lot of those content creators, like a Cheeto or Sensitive, they at least admit when they're wrong. People like Jalyn never do.
They're wrong. Well, no, Sensitive and Cheeto are wrong about most things.
No. See,
but they don't admit
that's
to
an
it.
opinion though. That's just your opinion. Like they're right about. To me, they're right about a lot of things, especially when it comes to like opinions on like problems outside of YouTube and stuff like that.
To me, Jalyn is right about a lot of things.
That's
so
fine.
This is a non-argument. Yeah.
No,
so what is this like? This is.
It's not about their opinions on things. It's because Jalen's done shitty things. The difference between the two, these content creators, is that Sensitive and Cheeto, they've never done any of the shit that Jalyn has done. Like they are good, responsible people who can admit their wrongs. Jalyn can't. Jalen's cycle is just constantly doing the same thing over and over again, and then it goes silent, and Jalen's the one that causes something to pop up again. It's not everyone else, it's Jalyn. This time, I will admit, Jalen's outburst was because of the lyrics video. That's pretty much what I assume what caused it. But typically, every other time, it's because Jalyn does something fucked up, and then people are like, oh, you did something fucked up? I'm going to talk about it, because people need to know about it. To you, I get that.
Do people need to know about it? That's the thing. It's like what benefit? Like again, how do people benefit? It's like now Jalen's mental health is worse, which makes the problem that I was complaining about worse. It's like if you're gonna complain about the Jalyn cycle, then you shouldn't also contribute to it, right? It's kind of hypocritical to be like, oh yeah, the Jalyn cycle is bad, so let me make a video that makes it worse. Like, what kind of fucking logic is that?
Platform? Why should Jalyn have a platform? Why should Jalyn be on the platform? If we ignore Jalyn has a platform. Why would we want that? Why would we want a shitty person? Okay, why would we want a shitty person who false flags and says horrible things to people to be on the platform? Why would we want that? Why? Why would we want that type of person in our community?
Well, they're gonna have a platform no matter what. You can't change that. So you would be decreasing the amount of things she says that you deem to be shitty if you just didn't interact with her, right?
Okay.
Or maybe not you specifically, but larger content creators that have more of an impact, right? They just make the problem worse. That's the thing. Okay? She has a platform no matter what. Would it be better if she just didn't engage? Yes, I have told her this privately. I have told her to stop engaging quite recently, actually. I've been starting to do that. And will she take my advice? I don't know. I think she probably will. But I at the end of the day, that's up to her. That's her decision, and we can't control that. Okay? But what we can control.
That's advice that we've been giving Jalyn for like. Is it coming up on like a year or two now that we've been doing it, and Jalen's still doing the same shit?
But what you fail to account for is the way you're doing it, right? You're not doing it in a way that's going to resonate with her. I might have explained it to you in a way that makes sense to you, right? But the way I explained it to Jalyn is different, right? And it wouldn't make as much sense to you, but it makes more sense to Jalyn, right? Because I can relate to her in a way that most people can't, right? Ultimately, I think that really, like, I don't think, and maybe you're gonna really disagree with me on this, but I genuinely believe that at heart, Jalyn is a good person. Once you get up past all the whatever the dumb shit she said, once you look past her digital footprint, right? Like, she's a kind and compassionate person, and that's what I care about. Right? And I don't think she deserves this type of shit, right? And that's why, I'm friends with her in the first place. Not just because I'm contrarian, right? But because I saw someone getting a ton of shit, and it's like, do they deserve that shit? And it's like, well, let me go look and see, and then I came to the conclusion that no, they don't. And once I talked to them, I realized actually they're a decent person. You know, they're kind, they're compassionate, they have morals and principles. It's just, you know, they struggle. But I don't think that it benefits anybody to make her struggle more, other than maybe the commentary YouTubers who make money off of it, right?
Okay, but that's ironic because Jalyn is the one person who, for example, profited off of fucking a dead person. They profited off of Technoblade.
This is such a dumb argument.
What do you mean? You're complaining that the commentary community bad, profiting off of her downfall, right? Then
no, profiting off of making her downfall worse. Okay, Technoblade wasn't going to undie if Jalyn didn't make that video. Okay, nothing changed,
but
right?
It shouldn't
and
have,
it wasn't, and it wasn't like,
it.
and it wasn't. I don't think that Jalyn shouldn't report the news on her news channel. Like, what kind of argument is this? This doesn't make any sense. Or she should at least
get rid of the fact that she profited off of it.
I don't,
so wait, you're telling me you're okay with like Brazo and all these people who have profited off of like the death of like content creators? That's what you're telling me. You're telling me you're okay with that because that's their job.
I mean, I can't say I care as much as other people. I think once you're dead, you're dead. Do I think that Brazo's videos were in poor taste? Sure. And honestly, here's my take on it. Here's my take, all right? I think that the best thing that somebody reporting the news could do is make the video like that, but then have the video be a fundraiser where all of the money goes to some sort of like, you know, some sort of organization or whatever that does like cancer research, or, you know, donate it to help, you know, cure people's cancer, whatever. You get the point, right?
Like what Optimus did when the Technoblade
yes.
shit happened. Okay, but Jalyn didn't do that. Jalyn didn't do that, and that's not okay. And
sure.
The fact that the commentary
you could argue, okay, but you could argue that maybe she should have done that, right? I don't disagree with that. I don't think it's the end of the world though.
No one was treating it like it's the end of the world. The problem was that we were calling her out, right? Sensitive, all these people called her out, said, "Why the fuck did you do that? That's shitty behavior." And Jalyn spirals. That's not our fault. If that's how Jalen's gonna act and react to things, Jalyn needs like serious help. Jalyn needs to get off the internet. And ignoring her is not gonna get her that serious help. Ignoring her is just gonna let her continue to be that shitty person.
Telling her to leave the internet doesn't increase the chances of her leaving the internet. You know that, right?
I surely has a higher chance of getting her off the internet than just not saying anything. There's a higher chance of her actually dipping than just not saying anything.
No, if people are telling her to go off the internet, right? I feel like she's gonna want to do it less, to be honest. Or maybe that's how I would react. Maybe she's different, but I don't think that she's any more likely, at the very least, to leave the internet if people just tell her to, right? If that was the case, I feel like she already would have left the internet, right? But I think ultimately, you know, whether you like it or not, right? I don't think it's fair to say that she deserves the amount of shit that she gets. I'm fine with people criticizing her. I feel like they should just maybe leave it at that and not, but don't make like 50 videos on her either, right? It's like occasionally criticize her.
That's fair. I don't like the people who like just straight up the only criticism they give to Jalyn is just saying kill yourself. Like that shit's cringe. If your only reaction to Jalen's like outburst is saying kill yourself, you're a cringe person. Like I agree.
But here's the thing.
You're treating it like there's no content creators that are giving her genuine advice and just being like, "Hey,
I'm not saying that."
You just had an argument with me about how the commentary community
I'm saying well, I think that it you know, it's shit. Yeah, I'm not saying that everything about it is shit. There can be some good elements of it, but I think that ultimately it's like it's like reality TV. It's like it's shit, but it's fun to watch, right? That's what commentary really is. That's what it boils down to. It's basically reality TV, but on YouTube. Either way, my point was not that there isn't any valid criticism. Okay, giving valid criticism is only half the equation as well, by the way, right? The other half is this criticism actually going to serve any sort of utility, or are you just, you know, not really saying anything that hasn't already been said, and, you know, not actually doing anything productive, right? It's like, I just don't think that people are empathetic enough, right? That they're not willing to acknowledge that maybe they should go a little bit easier on her, because, you know, maybe this is just me, but I don't want to make the problem worse, right? You know, if I want Jalyn to change some sort of behavior, right? I'm not going to make a video about her, right? That's not going to change anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give her my opinion, or you know, my advice in DMs, say my piece, and she can take it or leave it. But making a video about it, making it a public matter, is not going to convince her, okay? It's just not, right? It's going to make things worse. That I'm telling you. She's going to be more receptive to being, to you know, people talking to her in private in good faith, and taking a much softer approach, right? If you want a genuine chance of convincing her of anything, of changing any behavior, you'd be much more effective at it if you were in my position, simply because when I give her advice or criticism, it's because I care about her. You know, like, I want her to succeed. I don't want her to get all this shit, because I don't think she deserves it, right?
Yeah, and that's fair and all. Like, I get it. You're closer friends than all of us are. But listen, I already said this before. There's plenty of other content creators here who can take criticism face forward, even if the video is like them just dogging on them, and they will admit their wrongs. Like, for example, that's like saying Larix.
For example, me.
What do you mean? Larix's videos are criticism. It's the videos aren't just him like dogging on Jalyn.
I didn't say there was no valid criticism. I just don't see how his video benefits anybody. That was what I was saying. I don't think his video serves any benefit. I'm not saying that the criticism is necessarily incorrect.
Okay, so if he tries to reach out to Jalyn privately, what happens when Jalyn ignores him? What do you do?
Maybe you just don't engage. Just ignore her back. I just don't see how making a video on her is going to convince her to change anything. Okay, people have been making hundreds of videos about her. Has anything changed?
Videos now are not about convincing Jalyn to change, because Jalen's already cemented that like career for herself. She's cemented the fact that she is a bad content creator and that her career's ruined. She's ruined her career.
Okay, and then what's the point? Her career is already ruined. It's like, okay, then just stop dancing on the grave. If that's gonna be your position, right? Her career's already ruined. Why talk about it? It's over, right? Okay, great. Move on to something else, right?
Oh yeah, but she did it again. So we have
what again?
What do you mean? She literally just went out of her way to call Izzy a racial slur and shitty things. Like, Izzy can post that stuff on his Twitter if he really wants to. If Jalen's putting that shit in his DMs, why should he ignore that?
It's fine. I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to, but at the end of the day, I just don't see who benefits from it. I don't know. I think that if it was somebody...
You should be saying that to Jalyn. You shouldn't be saying that to the commentary community. You should be going up to Jalyn.
You think I haven't... You think I haven't talked to Jalyn about certain things?
No. I'm sure you just admitted that you have, and I'm sure you have. But that's not our fault. It's not our fault for her downfall. She is responsible for her own behavior. We're not responsible for someone else's behavior.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that making videos about her, you know, regurgitating the same criticism, even if it's valid criticism, right? You're just regurgitating the same information. Oh my god, guys, did you know that Jalyn said the N-word? It's like, yes, dipshit, I already know. I've heard that a million times. Like, can we shut up and just move on? Like, I just don't care anymore, right? I just couldn't care less at this point. It's like, I just don't understand why we need to hyperfixate on one thing she said that was bad, and then make 20 videos about it. It's like, I think that at this point, it's like, it's not gonna fix anything.
Who has made 20 videos about it? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, about this one incident.
Well, about the one incident, I mean...
Because, like,
20 videos might be a little bit of hyperbole. And, you know, if one person makes a video about it, why do all the other commentators need to, you know, join in? It's like, Jalen's already seen the one video. Most of the commentary community's already seen the one video. Why do there need to be 25 more commentary channels that make the video where they just say the same fucking information? It's like, what's the point of that? Who does that benefit?
It's Jalen's job to not click on those videos. You shouldn't be blaming, like, for example, I uploaded one video on the incident. You shouldn't be blaming me for how she feels. She shouldn't have clicked on the multitude amounts of videos that are sitting on the internet. She clicked on Lyric's. That's it. You should click on just his. She doesn't have to click on all of our videos. That was her choice.
I agree, but here's the thing. I don't think she can help herself. I can't help myself when somebody makes a video about me. I gotta watch it. I gotta see what people are saying, right? Now, granted, I take it a lot better than she does, right? I usually just, you know, I'll either, you know, argue my position or whatever, you know, pretty calmly, or I'll just, you know, I'll be like, oh, okay, that was kind of funny, good job, right? It's like, I understand, you know, not being, it's like an addiction, right? It's like an addiction.
Yeah, no,
I don't see it. I don't see it as any different from being addicted to alcohol or you know, any substance like that.
Okay,
right?
Okay, there's people that I know who have, you know, alcoholism. The best
so
way
what
to
do you do?
handle
Do you
it-
make a
the best way
is
to
make a
handle
video
it-
about them?
We're not talking about videos. I'm saying the best way to handle it is to tell them, hey, stop doing that. When you ignore that person who has alcoholism, what do you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna just wake up one day and say, I should stop drinking? No, they're gonna do it till they die. Like, that's
okay. So when I say ignore, right? I don't mean don't, you know, you shouldn't say anything ever, right? What I mean is that you don't need to blast everything out on public display, right? So for instance, if let's say you are close to somebody that has an alcohol addiction, are you going to go to the town square with a megaphone and start talking about their alcohol addiction and how it's causing all these problems, just so that everybody knows to, you know, beware of them? You know, you got to be careful around him. Maybe he gets violent. I don't know. Like, no, you wouldn't do that. That doesn't benefit anybody.
Okay,
like
if the alcoholic person was being, you know, fucked up, aka Jalyn being fucked up in the community, then people would probably spread around, hey, watch out for this guy. He's an alcoholic. He might get a little physical. Like, that's a normal thing for people to do, because you should probably do that to warn people of this person's behavior.
Maybe you warn people that are, you know, about to get close to that person, right? But you don't, you know, you don't do a public speech about, you know, criticizing them or whatever, right? That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, but
right?
Jalyn is a public, like in public
I know that she's a
content
public
creator.
figure. I know that she's a public figure. I get that. But again, by worsening the problem, right? Worsening the problem does not benefit anybody, okay? Like, again, you might be right when you give certain criticisms, but you know, who do those criticisms benefit, right? Like, if they're just being regurgitated, right? If they've already been made, if it's already been said, then what's the point of repeating what other commentary channels say? It's like, there is no benefit. It's just people will copy each other's ideas because they know it'll get views, and they don't think about it beyond that, right? That's all there is to it.
It benefits people who are, say, coming into the commentary community, don't know anything about Jalyn. It benefits people who are in Jalyn's community that find out, oh shit, I'm associating with a bad person. It benefits people who are
So you
unaware.
think that? See, you're making my point for me.
What do you mean? It's benefiting.
That isolating. You think that isolating her from having other content creators be friends with her is going to benefit her somehow, right?
I don't care if
it's like
there's plenty of people.
It's like, oh yeah, it'll be beneficial because then no one will want to associate with her. It's like that makes the problem worse if no one is gonna be there for her.
What do you? No,
it's like you came on here. Here's the thing. You came on here saying
platform.
Doesn't. That's the thing.
So you think
me being kind and compassionate. Me being kind and compassionate doesn't cause her to get into more controversy. That's the point I'm making.
You being compassionate over the internet with a random person on the internet is getting her to sit there and say, bliss, someone's here to defend me, so I don't have to go get help. I don't have to leave.
No.
I can sit in my room and I can talk to this random person on the internet and that'll make me feel better. You genuinely think that you saying something nice to her is going to get her off the platform and to go get help?
I don't know if it'll get her off the platform, but it certainly, well, I don't know, at least, allow her to be more level-headed. If she has somebody to talk to, even if it's literally just me, right? Like that, even that in of itself can, get her in a better position, in a better headspace, right? She doesn't do bad things because she's malicious or evil, right? She does it because she's mentally ill. Like, it's like, But by, me talking to her, by her not being isolated and feeling like she's all alone in the world, she's not going to be as mentally ill if she feels like there are people there for her, right? But if she feels like no one's there for her, no one gives a shit about her, the world is out to get her, no matter what, and that everybody just hates her and nobody cares about her, do you really think that that's going to make her less mentally ill?
I'm not saying that us making content is going to solve her mental illness. I'm saying that it keeps
doesn't solve anything.
Yes,
it's
but
not productive.
Ignoring it doesn't help. It doesn't help in general because all it does is encourage bad behavior because she's going to keep
doesn't
doing
encourage anything.
Like
doesn't encourage. No,
being mentally
because if
ill
the only
doesn't
feedback
give her a pass. Being mentally ill doesn't give her this weird pass where she's we all have to baby her or something and treat her like she's
I never said that, but. Never said that. But if you're going to complain, about the Jalyn cycle, then you shouldn't then go on to make the cycle worse. It's like if you genuinely care about ending the Jalyn cycle, then maybe don't contribute to it, right? It's like, okay, if you're going to talk about how much you care about veganism and how you're a staunch vegan. But then you're going to make the problem worse by eating meat. It's like, okay, you are contributing to the problem. So it's like, okay, don't complain about a problem you're contributing to, right? Whereas if it's like, oh, this isn't like something that I really think about or care that much about. It's like, okay, then, maybe then it's like eat more meat. But I don't know. It just seems like it seems contradictory to be like, oh, yeah, we want the Jalyn cycle to end, so let's make a million videos that make the cycle worse. It's like, make up your mind. Do you genuinely want the Jalyn cycle to end or not?
Okay, listen. I never explicitly said that I want the Jalyn cycle to end, and I don't think it should continue. But
good.
But the thing is that when we make videos, there are going to be some that are going to be dog shit and they suck and they're spreading a terrible message, and then some that are going to be really nice, good criticism and stuff. But there's nothing wrong with us being like, you're a bad person. Jalyn needs to face the fact that she's a bad fucking person. We can't just sit here and baby Jalyn and just be like, oh, Jalyn,
don't think
it's
she's
okay.
a bad person, though.
It doesn't matter what you feel about Jalyn. We all collectively can agree that Jalen's not a bad person. Is a bad person. Like, most people in the commentary community collectively agrees that Jalyn, bad. And Jalyn needs to know that. Jalyn needs to understand that she's done bad things and she's a bad person.
She knows that most people in the commentary community think she's a bad person. Okay? She already knows that. So, clearly, that hasn't been a working strategy. Right? That doesn't solve anything.
We're not trying to solve her mental problem, dude. We're just...
I'm not saying you're trying to, but you are complaining about the problem, which is the Jalyn cycle, and your solution is to contribute to it and make the Jalyn cycle worse. I don't understand how this isn't obvious to you.
I'm not saying we're contributing to making the Jalyn cycle worse. There's nothing wrong with us making videos about Jalyn. Like, a good example is like Illuminati. Should we ignore Illuminati because she has mental issues and she clearly has mental problems, so that makes her like avoid like the actual
because she's genuinely a bad person. She has no heart. That's the difference.
Jalen's false flagged people. That's not good. That's ruining
That's not
other people's...
nearly as bad.
Careers.
That's not nearly as bad as abusing your romantic partners and treating people like shit and being a controlling piece of shit who's manipulative and completely dishonest.
You realize that Illuminati has
ruined
people's careers. You know who has attempted to ruin other people's careers? Jalyn. Jalen's done similar things. Larix is one of those examples. When you false flag somebody, you can get their channel taken down. If Larix lost everything, and Jalen's sitting there celebrating because we all ignored it, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, what are we supposed to do when Jalen's false flagging other people's channels? Are we just supposed to be like, well, she's mentally ill, so like, just let her do her thing. It'll
maybe
pass.
Maybe talk to her privately before making a video.
You know who's tried to talk to her privately? Izzy. And you know what that leads to? Her yelling at him and calling him the hard R. It doesn't work. The only people who can actually communicate with her are people who just want to feed her ego, which is people like you and her friends.
How am I feeding her ego? I've given her constructive criticism.
By babying her. When people are going up to Jalyn saying, hey, you did something bad? You're a bad person? Like...
I don't think you understand how framing works. Telling someone they're a bad person, is not effective, okay? If you understand where they're coming from while criticizing them, they're going to be way more open to that. This is just psychology 101, all right? This is basic shit, man, right? Think of it, or I guess another way to put it would be, there's a certain way you can deliver an argument in a way that will be more likely to convince the person you're arguing against, right? So if you start out by being nice, right, and then you give whatever your criticisms or grievances are or disagreements, right, and then you end it with being nice, right? It's like if you have like a sandwich where it's like, okay, here's like the fluff on the top, here's the criticism, here's the fluff on the bottom, right? That can actually be beneficial sometimes, right? Like if you're trying to genuinely convince somebody, you have to show first that you understand where they're coming from. And I don't think anybody in commentary is doing that.
What makes you think Izzy hasn't ever tried to do that? What makes you think Izzy has never tried to do that? Jalen's initial response to Izzy right away was just to put the fucking raccoon emoji, dude. That's not okay.
Pretty sure.
What is he doing? What is he doing that deserves like racial things?
I'm pretty sure. Well, from what I understand, and I'm pretty sure this is the case as well. In the clip where Jalyn screamed the N-word or whatever, people were provoking her, right? They were saying a bunch of transphobic shit. They were insulting her. That's what led up to that. She didn't just have a mental breakdown out of nowhere, right? There was shit that led to that, right?
But that doesn't
when people
make it
are saying horrible, when people are saying horrible things about her and whatnot, you shouldn't, act like, oh, they're 100% in the right when they knowingly caused her to have a mental breakdown.
What did Izzy do to cause a breakdown? It was Larix's video. All Izzy did was repost things that Jalyn said publicly, which is you can do that.
I'm pretty sure
He
I'm
didn't
pretty
say
sure
anything.
in the VC.
No,
the
I'm talking about
VC
recent. I'm talking about recent. Like this
recently.
instance.
Well, I'm pretty sure she already disliked Izzy by then.
Does it
but I'm
matter
pretty
if
sure
you
that
dislike somebody? You don't go into their DMs and call them the hard R and say like call them put the raccoon emoji. You don't do that. I don't.
I
care.
agree that that's not a good thing to do. However, to claim like Izzy is 100% innocent when I'm pretty sure he was one of the people in the VC that was egging her on. All right, let's not pretend like there wasn't any of that shit going on. Okay, it was a VC that was very toxic, where people were being cruel to her. I would say, right? They're just being straight up cruel, unempathetic, etc. Just insulting her for no reason because they think it's funny or whatever. Being blatantly transphobic, etc. And as far as I'm aware, Izzy contributed to that.
Okay, cool.
So I don't trust what Izzy has to say.
Fine, maybe Izzy's not like the perfect example, but maybe use like Nicholas Diorio. When they had the little debate with Izzy and Jalyn, Nicholas came in. All Nicholas was doing is giving genuine criticism, and then Jalyn said, "I'm just going to ignore you guys." That's progress. And Nicholas acknowledged that as progress and said, "Good, that's good progress, Jalyn." And then you know what Nicholas did? He walked away. That's a prime example of commentators doing, giving
I
like
don't
genuine
disagree.
advice. But
Here's the thing.
Where
Here's the
are
thing.
the people who are giving bad advice? Where? Who? Who is giving bad advice to Jalyn? Who?
I'd say one example. I'm pretty sure, like for instance, when somebody like I don't know a Cheeto says, and it's not just about the advice itself; it's the way it's delivered, right? If somebody is just like, just leave the internet, lol, like that's not. It's functionally not advice because it's obviously not going to do shit if you say that, right?
But Jalyn should leave the internet. What
Okay,
advice do you want a Cheeto to give? What do you want him to say specifically?
I mean, at this point, I'd rather just not engage at this point because it's like I feel like he's already kind of.
She has engaged with him, which is what led to their debate. It led to everything. So, What is he supposed to do? Just ignore the fact that Jalyn is engaging with him? Same things happen with other content creators. Like there's people who have given Jalyn like actual solid advice, and Jalyn just spits in their face. Like what?
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. I think that let's go back to Nicholas Diorio, the good example you brought up, because I actually don't really have a problem with Nick. Other than him being fat, of course, but I'm just kidding. But you get the point though. I think Nick is a good guy, aside from his eating habits, of course.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I think he's a good guy, right? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Nick is a bad person, or he wronged Jalyn. Okay, I don't think that he did, right? And maybe Jalyn will disagree with me on that, right? But I don't think that Nick is in the wrong, right? But notice how Jalyn, she didn't insult Nick and or like respond angrily. She's just like, I'm just gonna ignore you guys, right? Which is, like you said, progress. So you gave an example of somebody being reasonable, and then her having a more reasonable response. So
she didn't have a reasonable response after that. You know what she did right after that? She went back to just engaging. She went right back to engaging.
At least
there's other instances
but
where
at least she considered ignoring it once, right? At least she considered it.
Dude, yeah, but the thing is that Jalyn engages without us having to tell her to engage.
Oh my God.
You're treating it
so
like
either way, I feel like nobody benefits anybody when they make these videos. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Because this is, at the end of the day, I understand where Jalyn is coming from, and I'm not gonna stop being friends with her. And that was really what the point of the debate is. I think that the goalpost has shifted a little bit towards, you know, is Jalyn in the right? It's like, I think she's worthy of criticism in a lot of instances, right? I think that the way the criticism is delivered matters, though, right? I think that it, you know, now I'm not going to say that you can't deliver criticism. I feel like you kind of misconstrue my position there, right? It's like you can deliver criticism and you have the right to deliver it however you want. However, I think it's more beneficial to deliver it in some ways than other ways. I think that that's a pretty reasonable position to have. And at the end of the day, I'm not, you know, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being friends with her, okay?
I have no, listen, I don't care if you're friends with her. I don't give a fuck what you do with your life. But what I'm trying to say is that Jalyn engages without us having to do anything. Like, there's
somebody
been
donated $1. Well, hold on. Someone sent $1 saying fix the lag. Thank you, Mutated Cutie, for the donation, in which you say fix the lag. All right. I'm gonna look and see. At the end of the day, I just wish people were more understanding. Right? I think that that's a fairly. Like, hold on.
I understand, but I just think that, like, you haven't really listed content creators who have just given terrible advice. Like, all of these people have made
it's not even about
videos.
It's not even about the advice or whether or not, oh, there's valid criticism or there's not valid criticism. It's more about, oh, you know, is this actually gonna, you know, help solve the issue, or is it gonna make it worse, right? You know, it's like, there can be plenty of valid criticism, but it's like, I don't really think it matters. I genuinely believe that being unempathetic, regardless of how much valid criticism you have, doesn't serve any utility. I think that being compassionate and taking a softer approach would be more beneficial. I don't think that, you know, trying to, like, you know, shit on her or, you know, make a hit piece on her or whatever, I don't think that benefits anybody, right? It's like, oh, you know, it's like, yeah, let me make this into content, right? Rather than actually, you know, trying to solve anything, right?
I mean, sure.
This is what I just...
Sure, but, like, when it started, people gave just soft criticism. It was basic, just, hey, don't do that. It was just basic, hey, don't do this one
I feel
bad
like
thing. And then it kept growing.
I feel like, but I
Jalyn
feel like
kept
she gets
going.
dogpiled.
She gets dogpiled. She gets dogpiled now because she cemented that reputation. That's Jalen's
I don't think
fault.
that doesn't benefit anybody.
Why should we have any sort of, you know, compassion for a person who's tried to false flag multiple people, has profited off of dead people like Technoblade, and has been racist to specific people, and has ignored criticism when people had tried to give it to them and be nice to them? There have been multiple content creators who have attempted to be like, hey, I'm gonna be nice to you, I want to give you genuine criticism, I want to help you, and then she just spits in their face. Why should we have
when
any
did she ever
Keemstar did that.
Wait,
Keemstar tried to be nice to her, and then she just called him a pedo.
Well, then why hasn't she called me a pedo? Why hasn't she spit in my face?
Because you're her friend. You're her best friend. Keemstar is a guy that's not her friend.
Exactly.
That doesn't. So wait, you're okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me make this clear. If you are friends with somebody, right? Meaning that you're kind, compassionate to them, right? You care about them, and you genuinely care about them and their well-being. They're more likely to listen to you, right? If they don't know you,
he was.
Why? Was he friends with Jalyn? I don't know.
He wasn't friends, but he was just being nice. He literally didn't even do anything rude to Jalyn. He was being nice.
Maybe.
And Jalen's initial response is to just be like, "Oh, you're a pedo."
And maybe that's, and if that happened, that's wrong, right? But you have to understand, yeah, she gets defensive. I agree. She's overly defensive. That's a valid criticism. But I don't think that justifies, you know, dogpiling her, making her mental health worse, you know, trying to, you know, ruin her. It's like people will just, like, tear her apart when I don't think she deserves that. I think she's a genuinely kind person.
No one is trying to just tear her apart. No one is sitting here saying, Jalyn, kill yourself.
That's what it seems like.
The only people who are saying...
well, there are a lot of people that say that.
Yeah,
there
but
are a lot of people
on Twitter. Those are, like, the 2 follower accounts who, like, quote tweet Jalyn saying kill yourself. Like, that's not...
Sure, but...
That's not majority of the people on the platform. You're treating it like everybody here just says kill yourself to Jalyn, and that's the only criticism
I'm not saying that. But again, making a million videos about her where it's just regurgitating the same information. It's like, I feel like, one, you're beating a dead horse, right? She's already heard the criticism, right? Everybody has already heard it a million times. And two, I don't think that dogpiling somebody is gonna benefit any. Like, again, I don't know how you don't understand. There's no benefit to dogpiling someone. It's just gonna worsen her mental health,
There's
which
no
is gonna,
benefit
you know,
to not making videos. Like, there's no benefit.
there is. It's called not worsening her mental health, right?
Okay,
the worse her mental
guess
health
what that
is,
does?
the worse she acts.
Guess
the
what
worse
that does,
she
though?
acts.
Guess what that does? You realize that if we ignore the actions of Jalyn, it literally causes her to just continue the behavior, because if she did it in one video and she can get away with it, she can get away with it in every video. You have to understand that she can't.
You can be, but
she can't just be the same person every single time, and we all just say, "Oh, it's just Jalyn shenanigans. Oh, it's just Jalyn being silly." Like, we'll just let it slide because Jalyn's mentally ill.
Maybe instead of, you know, dogpiling her, maybe again, instead of dogpiling her, which just makes her feel like shit even more, which I don't think she deserves, you know, maybe just, you know, I know I've said this a million times, but take an approach that isn't something that'll make the problem worse. Again, her being mentally ill is the underlying issue. That's what you don't understand. If that's the underlying issue, then making it worse is not going to fix it. You can, you know, have all the valid criticism in the world, right? But if you're presenting it in a way where it's not actually gonna, you know, benefit anybody, she's obviously not gonna listen to it. It's just gonna make her feel worse about herself. It's gonna make her feel like she's being targeted, right? If that's how she feels, you know, then that's just gonna make the situation worse, right? Whereas somebody like me can offer a lot of similar criticism, believe it or not, all right? But in a way that's actually effective, right? I do it more slowly, so I'm not, like, in a way that doesn't make her feel bad about herself, right? I can give her valid criticism, and I can be firm. I'm not gonna, like, she's, like, if she were to, like, respond, like, badly, which she hasn't, by the way. She's only responded pretty well. You know, it's like, I feel like, you know, the best thing I can do for her is just be there for her and be realistic with her. And I think that is ultimately, you know, and keep in mind, right, like, I'm somebody who can articulate things better than most people, right? I'm good at convincing people of, you know, doing the right thing and whatnot, right? In a way that, I guess the best way to describe it is, I think there's a difference between criticizing somebody's beliefs or actions and, I guess, exposing their vulnerabilities, right? And I think once people conflate those things, right? Once people conflate exposing her vulnerabilities with criticizing her actions, I think that's when it becomes a problem.
Okay, but you admit that mental health is not an excuse, right? So why are you using it as an excuse?
Because
you're using it as an excuse.
It's not a matter of whether or not it's an excuse. That's what you're failing to understand. I'm not saying, oh yeah, it's really great that she called Izzy the N-word. That was my favorite.
That's not.
I mean, I might make a joke, but the fact of the matter is, it's not a matter of whether or not she was right or wrong in doing so. I can agree. Yeah, that was bad for her to do. I don't disagree with that. Fine, whatever. But the approach, the way you approach it, you know, it's gonna. I think that there's a contextual reasoning for not approaching it a certain way, right? If there's a problem and your goal is to solve it, then you should do things that are obviously going to solve it. Making her feel like shit about herself doesn't solve it, right?
I mean, sure, but Jalyn. Okay, listen. You can't use mental health as an excuse. You can't. There's just because, like, for example, just because, like, say for example, that Cheeto is mentally well, and Jalyn isn't, doesn't mean that Jalyn is excluded from excluded from videos made on her, but a Cheeto isn't. You can make as many videos as you want on a Cheeto because he's mentally okay. But Jalyn, that's treading waters now because Jalen's mentally ill. That's stupid. You can't have that logic. Jalyn is not void of criticism just because we might struck a nerve. You are. That's what you're saying. You're saying Jalyn.
It's about how you deliver the criticism. It's about the way in which you deliver the criticism that matters. Right?
Okay, no one has delivered it.
Dogpiling her?
No one has
dogpiling it.
Nobody has dogpiled.
You admitted earlier in the debate that she gets dogpiled.
When did I say that? Again, when did I say she gets dogpiled? All I have admitted
rewind
is that
the VOD.
All I have done...
Oh, you admitted it.
No, all I have said is that multiple creators have made videos. There's not a single creator who's just made like 20 videos, like 5 different videos upon Jalyn, like all in one instant. We've all made our own separate videos on Jalyn. Sure, if you want to call
I think there are people... I think there are people that have made, you know...
maybe a few small content creators, but not everybody has. Majority of the commentary community...
Why are you arguing against the point I've never made? I never said that everybody has made too many videos about her or whatever, or that everybody only has invalid criticism.
Argument. That's your entire argument right now.
This is a fundamental misunderstanding. No, my argument is that people in general, and there are going to be exceptions to this, for instance, I acknowledged Nicholas DiOrio is an exception for that, you know? Even if Jalyn disagrees with me there.
They all are.
No,
because there's not a single video that I have seen. There's not a single Jalyn video that I have seen where it's just terrible criticism. There is not a single
So you think that just saying, oh yeah, she's a bad person, and I want the worst for her is good criticism, because people will say shit like that, right?
Now they will, because Jalyn cemented this reputation. What do you not understand? I'm saying from the beginning.
What do you not? But I just don't understand why we need to, take this approach of well, she cemented it, so I guess she's screwed now. It's like,
because she did that to herself. You're arguing here that Jalyn, we need to be nicer to Jalyn. We have. That's what we did at the start. When Jalyn started this bad behavior, what did we do? We were like, all right, Jalyn, this is like, it's like a, you did a bad thing, all right? It's whatever.
I mean,
I wasn't
there.
Okay, and I was.
I was.
Majority of content creators were just like, hey, you know what? It's all right. You did one bad thing, just move on, right? You know what she did? Ignored it. Then comes the second time. We all said, whatever, you did a bad thing. Ignored it. She ignores everything. Everything. Baby. It doesn't matter what way you deliver it to her. She ignores it. She isn't getting better by us sitting here saying, She isn't getting better by either way. Like, no matter what side that's going on isn't helping. Like, ignoring isn't helping.
Let's say...
And giving
let's say that you're right, and that she, she's never gonna get better. All right. So what is preferable in your opinion? Not changing the problem at all, or making the problem worse?
What? But here's the thing.
Making
content isn't making it worse. You
don't think when there's 200 people. When there's 200 people making videos saying that Jalyn is a terrible person and that she deserves the worst, you don't think that that's going to worsen her mental health, which is the
Who else has made a video about Jalyn in this recent situation other than Lyrics? Other than me, and I have 400 subs. I am irrelevant. I do not count. Like, Lyrics is the only one. And maybe, one other person.
I'm pretty sure... And it's not even about the individual situation. I'm speaking generally in terms of the commentary community, how they interact with her, treat her, talk about her in general, right? So, I don't know if Sensitive Society or a Cheeto, for example, have made videos about this specific situation. But I know they've made a billion videos on her that were all dog shit.
They were all in the past, and they were all genuine criticism for bad behaviors that Jalyn had.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. They were all genuine criticism.
It was them overreacting to basically nothing. It was she said she was Reddit atheist posting on Twitter one time. Oh no, the world's gonna fucking explode. It's like, who gives a shit? I'm sorry. I just don't understand who benefits from someone making a video about old tweets. It's like what kind of fucking...
It wasn't old tweets. Are you talking about Cheeto's video when he was talking about her wanting, like what was it again? Religious people having the Holocaust happen to them again? That wasn't old tweets. That was recent tweets, and Cheeto was like, oh, you're a hypocrite. That's reasonable. Cheeto has every fucking right to be...
Pretty sure I've already, and I don't remember the video that well because Cheeto was boring, but I'm pretty sure I've reacted to that specific video on a stream I did. So if you want to hear my thoughts on it, I guess watch that. It's been too long for me to remember the contents of that video, to be honest. Probably for the better. So that, I don't lose more brain cells. But again, it's like, okay, I've seen... Okay, yeah, people like Grimsy have made, like, 20 Jalyn videos. Lyrix has made, whatever, like, 7, if not more, if we include all the deleted videos. It's like, it's not like it was Lyrix's first video by any means. It's like, I get it, you might want to criticize Jalyn, and that's fine. But you can criticize her actions without labeling her as a bad person. Think of, I guess a good analogy would be... Think about it.
Why should we all collectively agree that she's not a bad person? That she's a good person?
You can...
No one should...
I'm saying that it doesn't benefit anybody. I agree that you can have different opinions, but I don't think it benefits anybody to be like, oh, she's a terrible person, she deserves the worst, right? First of all, that's going to increase the chances of their audiences, going out and, harassing them if they think that they deserve it, right? And secondly... at the end of the day, think of how I am willing to think of how I never labeled Augie as transphobic, right? I might say, oh, your actions are transphobic, right? But you are not a fundamentally bad person, even though I think that you've said some horrible shit type of thing, right? Jalyn has said some horrible shit, right? But I don't think she's a horrible person because of it. I think that they're making a distinction between somebody's actions and who they are as a person and what their intentions are and who they are, at their core. I think that making that distinction can actually be beneficial, right? It's just, I don't know, it just sucks to see people just, like, constantly bashing my friend who I obviously care about, who has been nothing but super nice to me, that, has been, like, just completely kind, and, it's like she clearly struggles, and just seeing her get treated like complete shit, like, genuinely, like, hurts to watch. Like, I'm just so sick of it.
Okay,
right?
There are bad people who have been nice to other people. Like, just because Jalyn has been nice to you, and say, for example, somebody in your own chat, it doesn't just automatically, like, make Jalyn a great person. There are plenty of bad people in the world who have done good by people. That's like saying political figures, right? These political figures that you disagree with, well, they're bad people because they don't like your group of people. But you know what they've done? They've probably donated money to people that they like. So does that make them a good person? No. It doesn't make them an automatic good person. There is no difference. That's the same shit.
Well, but here's the thing, right? I don't think that Jalyn is doing it in a way that's disingenuous. That's the main distinction, right? She's being, like, she's very genuine with me, right? And, it's like, she's genuinely kind. And, it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to prove that without leaking DMs, but, like, which I'm not going to, obviously. But, like, it's just, like, here's somebody who's just, like, a genuinely kind-hearted person. Maybe they've done some shitty things, right? But it's, like, at their core, they're not a bad person, and obviously they need help, right? But, making videos on her doesn't help her. It just makes the problem worse. It just makes her feel really bad about herself. And seeing that happen is just, I'm sick of it. And, it's like, I just wish people were more empathetic.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The thing is that people are empathetic. I just don't think you're seeing that empathy. Like, The problem is...
Are they?
Because, like, here's the thing.
Is it...
People made loads of videos on Jalyn in the past, but as time has gone along, more of these content creators have stopped making videos about Jalyn. I mean, like, Sensitive Cheeto, they didn't bother to make... They haven't bothered to make videos about Jalyn in a while. And even during this situation, they haven't bothered. Because it's not a problem. The only person who made a video was Larix. And then Jalyn spiraled because of that. One video.
Yeah.
One video. It doesn't matter if it's multiple. It's one video is all it takes.
Do you think it...
That's not our fault. That's Jalen's fault.
Okay, I have a question. Is it better if Jalyn does or doesn't spiral?
Doesn't? But what does that have to do with being on the
internet?
You said she needs to get off the internet.
Okay, you said... Okay. Multiple people can be in the wrong at the same time. You know that, right?
Yes, but
anyways,
in this instant, how is multiple people wrong? How are the other people wrong? I just want to know
that. You said, okay, so you said that Larix's video caused her to spiral. And you said that it's preferable if she doesn't spiral. So wouldn't the outcome of Larix's video be negative?
No. You're missing the point. You're just associating with, well, she spiraled because the video was made. No. She spiraled.
You said that.
No, she spiraled because
she spiraled
because she's mentally ill and needs to get off the internet. Nothing about that video that Larix made.
Oh yeah, that video is gonna convince her to get off the internet. Yeah. Okay.
The whole point of the video wasn't to convince her to get off the internet. But Larix has history with her. He has every right to fucking talk about his history with Jalyn and document it. He has every right to do that.
He has every right, but but that doesn't mean that
video is positive. That video is a good video.
No,
yes, it is.
Is it good in terms of the editing? Sure. Did he articulate his points well? Sure. Is the outcome of that video existing good? No.
Yes, it is.
There's no.
Yes.
Okay, then explain what the beneficial outcome is.
People who come to the commentary community learn about who Jalyn is, or what they have done, or what they've done in their past. If Larix...
Everybody already knows!
No, but if we ignored Jalyn, then nobody would know. Jalyn would continue to be a shitty person.
Everyone's already made videos, so it's like, what's the fucking point?
But that's not the point. Larix didn't make the video because he wanted Jalyn to watch it and then get mad. He made the video because it's documenting their past. That's fine. He was the one that was involved. He's one of the main people that's involved. He can make that video.
Also, my stream is lagging. Also, I'm sorry if I get, like, kind of, like, emotional in a debate like this, because it's like I sort of, like, see, like, the behind the scenes, like, effects of, like, how, like, I see how this, like, affects, you know, Jalyn and whatnot. And it's like maybe I don't know if I'm you know, it probably does impact my ability to argue. Like, I didn't want to argue about it for a reason, right? But it's like it's just like, just sucks to see people like saying a whole lot of, you know, shit about her. And it's like I know she's like, or at least I think she's a good person at heart, and like seeing people do things that like I know negatively impact her and like that genuinely hurt her, it just sucks. Right.
No, I get what you're saying. It's tough to watch friends go through a hard time. But I mean, I think what we should do is leave it at the fact that, you know, because I don't think we're going to be able to come to like an agreement on it.
Maybe not. I don't think
we will be able to come to like a full agreement to it, because at the end of the day, I think that it's warranted to make videos, especially when she does something bad. And you don't think that. And you're friends with her, and you don't like seeing it happen. I get that. You know, I've had friends who have been shit on before, and it sucks watching them go through it. I mean, the way I see it is a little different from you. I personally think if they did something bad, they got to face the fact. They got to face the noise. They got to face it. You know, that's how it works. You know,
I feel like no matter what at this point, it's like, I don't know. It's like when there's so much, you know, shit that she gets, like, that's overwhelming for anybody, let alone somebody like Jalyn. Like, you have to understand that, right? It's like, fuck, it's overwhelming for me to see all the shit that, you know, she gets. It's like, holy fuck, how would anybody handle that, right? It's like, I don't know what the fuck I would do if there was that many people. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't, because it's like it's like I can be more emotionally detached from the situation, right? If it was me, I don't know how I would handle it, to be honest.
No, I get you. I've never experienced it either. But I mean, I just, at the end of the day, like when you go through serious things or you've done serious things on the internet that is like basically deemed like, it's kind of like the hammer that nails, whatever the term is, I don't know. When it's stuff that like what majority of the internet deems is like, career ending, which is like when you false flag somebody, that could be really considered like career ending for a lot of content creators.
Well, I think it's bad that she did that, right? And I've told her this, but I again, I don't think that she deserves to have her whole career ended. I don't think that she deserves to just be like treated like shit. It's clearly not okay. Someone was saying, look, she's clearly not fit to be on the internet. People say it's a lot, but it's true. The best outcome for her would either be leave or take a long break. If she can't do that, then she will burn her life to the ground. Defenders of hers will suffer too. But it's like, and it's like, I understand. Like, yeah, is some of it her fault? Yeah, I don't know. I wish that people were just more, I don't know, understanding. It's like, is it good for her to be on the internet? No. Do I think that it would probably be better for her if she took a break, or at the very least just focused on making videos and nothing else? Just stayed out of drama, whatever. Just pay attention to like what really big YouTubers do that don't even know she exists, right? Just pay attention to what Dream is doing or whatever, right? I think that would be better, right? It's like, okay, I understand, because it's like, here's the thing, right? Is like, this is, a big, like, probably her primary source of income. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, right? But it's like, she makes videos for a living, right? It's like she has to, stay on the internet to an extent, right? I just think she should probably stop engaging with people that are,
I get
toxic.
you
but
that this is her career and this is where she makes her money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, I mean, whether you think so or not, she's ruined her career, and it's gonna steadily go down more and more and more. And what a lot of people have done is tried to tell her, like, hey, you need to, like, this is not real criticism. People who say this to her kind of, I think it's kind of funky when you say it to her, but, like, say, like, get a real job.
Yeah.
Like, she refuses.
Fucking hate when people say that.
She refuses to do that. She says she never wants to do it, and that blames it on AI, dude. Like, that's mentally ill, dude. She's gotta, like, because, no, like, the reality setting in, dude, that one day she might have to actually do that. Like, that happens to a lot of content creators. I mean, like, fucking Boogie. He lost all his goddamn money, dude, and he was huge. Like, that reality sets in with so many content creators that, like, someday
you could have made a fat joke there. That would have been funny.
Like,
he was huge.
Oh,
still, I mean,
shit.
I guess, if you think about it, he's not as big now in both ways, right? He lost weight, and he also lost a sizable portion of his audience, right?
Oh my fucking god, dude.
He's a fraction of the man he used to be.
He did lose. You know what? He did lose quite a bit of weight.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? It's like, I know there's valid criticism of Jalyn, right? It's like, I don't agree with her on everything in terms of the way she conducts herself, right? But it's like, I can hold that position without also recognizing the fact that, certain, making, like, lyrics making that video doesn't really, I genuinely believe it only makes the problem worse. I think that people just talking about her in a negative light, even if the criticism is warranted, I think that I don't know. It's just,
I think it also
just hurts to see.
I think it also just kind of plays in the fact that, and this is going to sound really harsh, but a lot of people don't want Jalyn here in this community. A lot of people want Jalyn out of the community, which I think is fair. I don't think Jalyn should be in the community because, like you just said, it's negative for Jalyn.
Then block her.
But the problem is that Jalyn interacts with us. Even if it's just if we block or something, Jalyn is still part of the commentary community. Why can't Jalyn like make Minecraft videos, right? If Jalyn likes dream and talks about dream and stuff, why can't Jalyn move on to different forms of content and create a new career for herself somewhere else?
Wait, hold on. She can cover the same topics without engaging with the community itself. You know that, right?
Dude, like, no, every content creator, and I believe this, every content creator who says, I'm leaving the commentary community and then continues to make commentary content, no, you cannot. You cannot get up and say, I'm leaving the commentary community and then continue to make the same shit. Tipster did it. Tipster's a fucking loser. And
I don't think you should formally declare that you're leaving the commentary community, right? But I think a much better approach would be, don't say you're leaving or anything. Don't make a big deal out of it.
No,
just
that's a good
stop
idea.
interacting with just stop interacting with people in the commentary community, but make the but what I'm saying is that it's fine if she makes content on the same topics while not interacting with
No. I agree. There's definitely commentary
Ah.
channels who probably, I'm assuming, are probably around that make commentary videos that don't interact with anybody within the commentary community. But that's because they don't interact with us. Jalyn does. Jalyn goes out of her way to interact with us. So it's a net negative. What Jalyn should do at the end of the day is change her content. Stop making commentary. Why should we, as a group of people, completely ignore Jalyn?
Hold on. First of all, you're saying it would be better if Jalyn didn't interact with the commentary community, right?
Yeah, that's her choice. She has to.
I see the part of my stream where I gave myself the visual cue. All right, but yeah, I guess we can move on to the trans debate. Because I'm emotional. I'm like emotionally like kind of burnt out from it's like because this like. I don't know. I'm not.
No. I get you. I was gonna move on from the subject. I just my this is gonna sound weak of me. My fiance is home and she wants me to spend time with her. Do you think we could do like a different day? What's your schedule?
I don't know. I guess just.
I'm down to. I promised you, and I don't want to take that promise away.
You're a man of your word.
I'm a man of my word. You're a man of your word. I don't want to take that away.
Yeah. From you. I guess. Oh God. Because I don't fucking plan anything ahead of time. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, then
I'd say.
Then just tell me you're about a stream or something, and then.
Yeah, I'll just like DM you. Yeah, I'll DM you if I'm doing a debate stream, and then you can just like come on.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause like I'm a lot better. I'm not gonna lie. I'm way better at debating like actual issues than like, personal shit. It's like
I get you.
It's like once it gets like, it's like I feel like I'm not even like the best person to talk about. Is Jalyn a good or a bad? It's like I'm obviously gonna be like,
you're gonna say
maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like no matter what, it's like I think she's a good person, or I wouldn't be friends with her, right? And it's like, but it's like it's like okay because it's like people are saying like bad shit about my friend, right? It's like I almost take it personally as well, right? It's like okay, that's like I know that this negatively affects somebody I care about, and like that kind of hurts me a little bit as well. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it just hurts to see.
I get you. So like I get it, but I do want to deliver on my word. I don't want to just like dip on you and then never do it again. So
of course. I'll DM you next time I do a debate stream, and then
I'll hop on and then I'll destroy you, and then we'll
to be fair, I'm not nearly as emotional when I talk about like politics. I go like this is easy mode, right? Like what you experienced was like easy mode because it's like okay, I'm like all like emotional and shit, right? And it's like I hate making arguments that appeal to emotion, but I feel like that's all I can do when it's like something personal, right? It's like it's like I hate making arguments off of anecdotal evidence while I kind of Had to do that. I hate making arguments about, based on emotion. I had to do that. It's like, normally I would criticize that form of argumentation as being bad, but it's like, I feel like this is different, right? It's like we're talking about an individual person and not like, oh, here's what the studies say, or, oh, your philosophy contradicts itself because of this reason, right? I don't know, it's a lot more difficult for me, at least.
I get you. I mean, hey, that's me learning that maybe that's a spot we don't talk about, because like,
yeah,
it's just a harder subject to talk about in general.
Yeah, that's why I made the agreement with you, because I really didn't want to talk about it, because it's like, oh god, I'm gonna get all fucking emotional on stream and shit. It's like, I'm not gonna like cry on stream, I don't think, but it's like just like it's if I don't know, it's just I just wish, I guess what it really boils down to is I just wish people were kinder to each other. Like I get, oh well, there's valid criticism, but it's like, you can give valid criticism without being an asshole, and some people might do that, but I feel like there's a lot of people that don't. A lot of people are very uncharitable towards Jalyn and not very understanding, and that's really where I have issue, right? Is people just refusing to be understanding.
Yeah.
And I've had people,
I think that's,
and I've had people say
I'm type of thing.
Yeah, and one of the main issues that I have is when people say I'm a bad person for associating with her, and a lot of people do say shit like that. It's like, oh, you support this? You support all these actions? It's like, well, first of all, I'm not her fucking, I'm not her fucking dad, okay? I'm not personally responsible for all of her actions.
I don't think you're like in the same boat as like Jalyn. You're not in the same boat. You're not the same person. You're a completely different person. You have your own things. You do your own shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're like a horrible, horrendous human being just because you interact with that type of person. Like, there's people that get thrown in boats just because like they watch a specific content creator, and it's just kind of like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, I'm not like for example, like watching like Leafy or something. Like, people literally get called like Nazis and shit just for watching Leafy or something, and it's like,
which is obviously like retarded, right? It's like, I watch people I disagree with all the time, right? I mean, if you look at if you actually pay attention to, let's say, Tommy C's chat or Augie RFC's chat, aside from like when they're like shit posting or whatever, or like pretending to be more extremist than they actually are. Oh yeah, we're all actually Nazis and hate trans people to like screw with Keffels or whatever, right? It's like it's actually a mixed bag. Like, half of Augie's chat likes me, and the other half thinks I'm like a weirdo degenerate who deserves to be crucified and needs to find God, right? It's like they disagree with each other.
I think that's good to have, though, because I mean it means that you're creating an echo chamber. Like, it's good to have people that disagree with you.
Correct. Yeah, and this is why I basically only ban people from chat if they're like, I don't know, spamming, right?
Yeah. I respect that.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to do. I have a video that has like insane amounts of hate. It was on like I think it's a T channel type of thing. And oh my goodness, dude. The amount of hate I got on that was crazy, but I let it sit there cuz I don't care to like.
Oh yeah, I get tons of hate.
Like, it's just kind of like, what am I supposed to do? Like, ignore it? Like, I'm going to acknowledge it. See it, it's there. Like, I'll let it stay there. If someone wants to speak their mind in my channel and disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. All right. I gotta go now.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you for the debate, man. See
ya. You do owe me the trans debate, though.
I owe you. I will.
Yes.
I will do it. You just gotta remember to DM me, and I will literally.
Yeah.
I'll leave my workplace just to come here and do it.
Based. Hey, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were like, okay. I was like, either.
I assume people think I'm like a kid. I think people think I'm actually.
Yeah, I was
16
I
or
was
something.
at first I was like, okay, he sounds 15. But then it's like, when I actually, but then it's like, it's like, okay, I get further into the video and it's like, actually, I don't know. It's like, okay,
it's
this
hard.
isn't how, this isn't how a normal 16-year-old talks. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a teenager anymore.
okay, so you're actually slightly older than me. I thought maybe you were, like, around my age. I don't know, something like that. I guess you are, because I'm 19.
I'm gonna be 21 in like a few months.
Oh,
so,
damn.
Yeah.
I'm barely 19, so.
Yeah. You're fucking. I'm older, so. That.
Yeah.
By what is it? By like.
What's it like to be, like, old, disgusting, and wrinkly? Can't relate.
It fucking feels. It feels great. You know what? It actually feels good knowing I'm
Yeah.
not a snot-nosed little brat.
I'd rather be a snot-nosed little brat than, like, old and decrepit and, like, having back
Fuck you.
problems.
Fuck you. Bro, God damn, dude. All right, I gotta go. See ya.
Alright, see ya.
All right, sorry. I kind of made it clear that I was going to leave at the start, but after watching and looking through this, I wanted to make some points. First of all, I'm extremely sorry about my cats playing in the background. That was very annoying for you guys, I'm very sure, and it's very distracting, and I'm really sorry about that. There's also a few mic noises that I think keep happening. It's like a weird like sound that keeps going through. I don't know what was going on, but I'm really sorry about some of the noises that were happening in the video. I get that it's just like a raw, it's like raw footage, raw debate. Like typically in my videos I cut out the weird noises and background noises and stuff, but in that circumstance there's not much I can do, but I just want to apologize for that. But I just wanted to make it clear that I really do feel like Femyoz didn't even give me an opportunity to speak my side. I know that this is my first time debating, but it already feels like I had at least more professionalism than him, just because of the sheer fact that I at least respected the fact that, I'd let him talk. And it didn't feel like he would let me talk. If I had a point and I brought it up, he would interrupt me with, some retarded logic. And I've realized now, and it's starting to piss me off a little bit. But that's why I'm making this small little segment, because I kind of want to explain myself a little bit better so that people kind of understand where I'm coming from or what I'm saying. So I just wanted to make it very clear that Jalyn is a bad person. Femyoz, I do not care what you think of Jalyn. I don't care how you see Jalyn. At the end of the day, collectively, people believe that Jalyn is a bad person. Just because Jalyn has donated money to someone in your community doesn't automatically make Jalyn a good person. There are plenty of bad people in the world who you think are bad people who have donated money to, charities and have done good things, way more than Jalyn, and that doesn't make them an automatic good person. Even if Jalyn is nice to you, doesn't make Jalyn a good person. There are plenty of terrible people in the world who have been nice to people, and that doesn't make them great individuals. You have such an extreme bias towards a specific person that you are blinded by their actions and what they've done to other people and how they've treated other people. I want to make this very clear. I want to list off the things that Jalyn has done. Jalyn has said racial slurs to, specific individuals. She has threatened other people's lives and threatened to go to people's houses. She has purposely false flagged other individuals because it was funny and she wants them to lose their platform. And she's also said extremely terrible things to religious people and wished horrible things upon them, blamed it on humor, even though a lot of the things she says completely goes against her ideology and political opinion. If you don't think that that inherently makes her a bad person, I don't know what to tell you. She has done these things on her own volition. These are things that she has chose to say and do on the internet without coercion from other people. We did not make her mad and then she decided to do this. The reason why people made videos about Jalyn in the first place was because they found out about this behavior on the internet and they were like, what the fuck? They called her out on it. If you want to think that the commentary community is the ones who create the uprise, you're one of the most retarded idiots I've ever seen on the platform. I'm dead serious, because you have to be a little bit self-aware and realize that they're not the ones creating the problem. They're the ones that recognize the problem, call it out, and then people like you defend it because I'm biased and I have a friend that I want to defend. You try to make the argument that talking to Jalyn in private is better than making videos, but where has that gotten you, Femyoz? You make it very clear that you have communicated with Jalyn off platform. What has that done? where did that go? Where did that take Jalyn? Has Jalyn become a better person now because you said nice things to her on the platform? No? Oh, very surprising. What you're doing is encouraging behavior. I don't care if you're giving soft criticism. Jalyn's not taking that soft criticism. Jalyn is getting an ego boost because she sees somebody defending her. That's the whole point. You made it very clear that Jalyn is looking for, people to consider her a good person. You're giving her that. The whole point that I'm trying to make is that Jalyn needs to acknowledge that she's a bad person. When the entire community considers you a bad person, there's a wake-up call. But when there's specific people in your life that are just like, no, Jalyn, don't block the noise. Don't listen to these people. They're wrong. Jalyn's going to take that. You're giving her this false hope that I am a good person and everyone else around me is a bad person. That is what you're doing. You are giving Jalyn this idea that it's not her fault, it's everyone else's fault. Jalyn's mind is telling herself right now that, oh, well, someone's defending me, so that means I'm a good person. Dude, I don't know how you don't realize that, but it's just, I don't know. I think it's like actually disgusting that that is the type of behavior you have with Jalyn. But I don't want to jump into any more. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain everything. I don't want to make an entire video on Jalyn. I just wanted to kind of explain it a little bit here. Like I said at the beginning though, I don't think Femyoz is a bad person. I just don't think Femyoz sees the real problem. I don't think he actually sees the inherent issue. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, I don't think Femyoz is this extremely horrible human being who like deserves the worst, right? It's like Femyoz, truly, I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. I have no hatred for you, and I don't wish bad things upon your channel. I want you to succeed. I want you to have fun on the platform. I want you to have a nice, community. I want you to have a fun time. I don't wish bad things against content creators. Like I respect every form of content creator. I don't care what it is. At the end of the day, if you're having fun and you get to engage with the community in a fun way and everyone's having fun and there's nothing bad happening, I'm happy for you. I truly am. And I wish good things for you, Femyoz. I don't want you to think that you're a horrible human being, or I don't want to press the matter, making it feel like I think you're a bad person or I hate you or something stupid like that. I don't hate you. Like at the end of the day, dude, I got along with you at the end of the fucking debate. I did. And like I said, I get that it's a sensitive topic because they are your friend, right? And listen, I have a few friends where if someone dogpiled on them a little bit, maybe I would go to their defense a little bit. Maybe I do have a similar bias, and maybe I don't. I've never had to somewhat experience that. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of friends who have done bad things, and my initial reaction was to go up to them and say, why did you do that? I'm straightforward with them. I'm, maybe a little rude at times, but listen, I get it. I do want to make that clear that I get it. She's your friend and there's a bias there. She's someone that has been nice to you and has treated you differently from everybody else. But like I said, I think I'm just trying to get it across that you're missing the point. You're missing the point. You're not seeing the picture that everybody else is seeing. I think that's kind of the point. But like I said, at the end of the stream and everything, we can agree to disagree. There's never going to be a point, I don't think, where I'm gonna convince you or you're gonna convince me. I think we should leave it at that. I don't think there's anything deeper than that. But before I end this off, just if you guys disagree with me or maybe see what Femyoz is talking about, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm not excluding myself from genuine criticism. If you guys want to criticize me in the comments, that's great. If you want to criticize, Femyoz in the comments, that's great. I have nothing against, criticism or your guys' viewpoint on the situation, right? I have nothing against it, and I'm perfectly fine with you guys doing it, and I encourage it. So, if you guys want to do that, feel free to. But anyways, guys, just thank you for watching the entire stream. Thank you for sticking around for this end piece, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.